a guy that's that tall going against a lot of the DBs at the high school level.
And what Kendra Harrison did last year, he beat out Cooper Flagg for National Player of the Year, according to Max Preps. This guy was everywhere on the court, a state champ, same on the football.
He's a monster. He's an absolute monster.
Here's Harrison in the slot. They find Neal. Neal unable to break a tackle. Nice pursuit by Antonio Kelly, the captain of the defense. Got a flag down.
Johnson's pass complete to
certainly in the area of a whole really nice tackle, though, in open field on Neal. That's how you want to get them down. You've got to get their attack at the line of scrimmage before they can make a move. Get your arms on them and bring them down. Just missing that block to the outside. Just a really nice job in the open field by Antonio Kelly Jr.
The hold pushes Reedsville back 10 yards. And this Reagan defense, no touchdowns surrendered in 2025. How do they get better on this end?
Well, that's the biggest thing. That's what's gotten them to this 2-0 record. It has not been the offense that's staggered out of the gate a little bit. It's been this electrifying defense. Fast, tough, smart, across the board, and a unit with a ton of experience.
Sounds like a quote from Tim Riggins in Friday Night Lights. Quick completion, Harrison. Kendre jukes. What a truck stick gets the 10 yards back. Harrison's third catch.
See how they're lining him up right now. A couple of times we've seen attached to the line right there alongside them. And as soon as he sees this defense go into his zone, just turns back, sits down, and the quarterback is looking for him all the way. Whether it is Neal back there or Johnson.
Reedsville on 2nd and 10. Johnson with pressure. Heaves it to the wrong man. Incomplete. Jonathan Long had a perfect pick. Reedsville a little off on communication there.
Yeah, certainly, and they got lucky with one that time because Jonathan Long goes for the pick. But I'll tell you what, Antonio Kelly had a better shot at that one. He ran right underneath that football. Can't blame Long because he's going to make that play. He does not know what is behind him there. But, man, that is a gift for Reedsville that they don't catch that and start returning it back the other way.
Reedsville does have 3 picks this year. That would have been a gift of a 4th interception. New running back, Kassan Henry in the game for Reedsville here on 3rd and 10.
Neal's at the top of your screen.
And a whistle. More conversation for Mike Ward tonight. So 5 more yards for Reedsville. This was an area Coach Teague noted with Johnson. Sometimes learning the playbook, especially in 3rd down situations, struggles in these spots.
And that's not necessarily a playbook as much as it is just situational football. Recognizing where the play clock is. And you saw it after the play, at least to us up here in the booth. Deontay Neal, who had played quarterback the last 2 years for them, comes down and says, hey, man, we got to go. Like, you got to be aware of where that play clock is.
3rd and 15 now for Johnson. Neal in motion. It's a fumble. And that'll put Reedsville out of field goal range, but we have a whistle. Already 2 penalties for Reedsville tonight. Make it 3. And what a bailout call for the Rams.
Yeah, 100%. It just seems like right now, one of the things you don't want to do if you're Braxton Johnston is let those mistakes compound on top of each other. You have the delay game due to the play clock running down. You don't recognize that. That one might not even be his fault, just a snap. Christian Kelly a little bit off.
So Neal back in at quarterback. Neal's asking for help from the sideline here on 3rd and long. Neal scrolls out, gets a block, throws short. That's Demarion Whitted, and he's 10 yards short of the sticks. Good pursuit by Seven Glover, who fittingly wears 7. He's done a great job all year.
Just a hard-nosed ball hawk. The back end of that defense, a guy that has really done an excellent job playing that defensive back safety role. Roams the field, sees it very well, and that time in the open field makes the stop. You see where those penalties come into play there. That's a 10-yard play or close to it. Could have gotten themselves a much better shot here on 4th down.
Options for Deontay Neal. Looks to the sideline. Seven Glover, one of the best DBs in the state. Him and Samari Matthews of Huff, who's committed to Texas. So good in the secondary.
Kendre Harrison attached to the line.
Harrison releases. Pressure coming. Neal scrambles for his life. Neal heaves to the end zone. What a tussle. Incomplete. Whoa, out of bounds for Demarion Whitted. He's shocked.
Close.
We need to take a look at that.
I mean, real close. Neal done everything he can to get that football into the end zone. And boy, that's tough. That is tough on the back line.
Because there's possession there. Unless they're claiming that Kelly was tugging on the football until he was out of bounds.
Yeah.
Interesting decision. Leads to a turnover. Reedsville thinks they had a touchdown. I don't blame them. Jacob Smith goes to work, feeds John Evans Jr., and Evans churns out 8 yards on first down.
Nice looking hole already on the left side of that offensive line. Big guys up front getting it done on the first play from scrimmage, giving Evans tons of room to work with.
Evans, the starting running back as a freshman last year with Jalen Moore transferring to High Point Christian. All he's done is put up 12 yards a carry coming in.
Yeah, really the guy that's made this offense run here the first 2 weeks.
He's the anchor of the Mountain Fried Chicken lineup. So Junior gets another handoff. He's got the first down. Tackled by Anthony Peel, the senior linebacker. Facing a young Reidsville defense. 2 new starters at linebacker. But Reidsville loves Zaylen Hampton in the middle.
Yeah, vocal leader that he's turned into throughout the course of this offseason and going into the first 2 weeks. It's a defense that really hadn't performed to the expectations of what Coach Teague and his staff wanted the first 2 weeks. But if they can find a way to break through that offensive line and get some penetration as well, it'd be a good step forward in their development through the course of the year.
Here's movement. Zaylen Hampton jumps. That's 5 early penalties for this Reidsville program.
It's very uncharacteristic, isn't it? We are not used to seeing Reedsville commit very many penalties at all. But when you have these younger parts, these younger pieces that don't have that experience playing together, that's where that starts to come in. You have miscommunications, you have breakdowns. And right now, that is absolutely handicapping what they're trying to do on the field if you're Reedsville.
Reedsville 26-2 in the last 3 years, one of the top teams in the state. Smith takes a deep shot. And off the helmet of Derek Lyons. Here's a flag warning Elijah Davis.
Might have been a little bit of a tough call there if you're playing DB. Step for step. Jacob Smith is what they want to see, those downfield shots. It looked like he was on target. Now he got there early. Good call by the officials. It was an early contact there. And really, the ball may have hung up just long enough that it slowed down Elijah Davis down the field.
Yeah, that throw draws the flag more than the player.
Right.
With Derek Lyons in coverage.
It may have been a blessing in disguise for Lyons because that way Davis is running right underneath that football. And he might be in the end zone for 6. What you get, though, with a quarterback like Jacob Smith can really chuck the football down the field. Has a massive arm.
The junior hands it off. John Evans spun down. Just 1 yard on the carry. Reidsville in the passing game, below 50% completion. Talking to Josh McGee this week, he said as Smith recovers from an ACL injury, learning to play within himself in the first 3 games.
Well, and down the stretch, I mean, as you start talking about as the season wears on, he could very well be the most important player on this entire roster. We all know the game of quarterback goes by how the quarterback goes. Got to really make sure that you're fired up, tuned into what they're doing. And as he comes back and gets himself back from injury, that's going to be important. That passing game is going to be massive for the hopes of Reagan throughout the course of the year.
This Mountain Fried Chicken defense is jumping for chicken in this game. A lot of penalties early. Some great pregame meal, by the way.
Yeah.
The tenders, fantastic.
I'm telling you.
It's non-greasy.
No, never.
And here's Jacob Smith, the NC State baseball and football commit. Looking to make his presence felt. 3rd game after an ACL tear to end his sophomore campaign. He works here on 2nd and 5. Smith feeds Evans. Nice move. Evans pushes down the middle of the field. And that pile just keeps going. Now a whistle blows. But where was he down? Might be short of the sticks.
Yeah, I'd say he's just short.
The tush push would have been another 20 yards there.
Sure would have. What a move, though, by Evans in the backfield. Senses that early pressure and does a little hop jump right back to the inside, the middle of that offensive line. You saw the burst right after that as well.
Evans following his left tackle, Issa Evans, no relation, the App State commit. Big presence. Here's 3rd and short. The Reagan team that went no points in the second half, but held off Oak Grove 7-6. Lowest scoring game in Josh McGee's coaching tenure. Evans with the rock. Off right tackle. And he's right at the sticks. This will come down to a measurement. Good tackle by Cadence Pruitt, the returning starting DN.
See, that time you want to see Evans just put his head down, drive, and get into the middle of everything that was going on. Just pick up the yard and keep the drive alive. Now, of course, he gets the first down. But situational awareness, knowing where the sticks are, just get those, get past it, and keep the drive alive.
Ruled a first down on the ground. The Crescent Ford first down. Ride the game in style with the new F-150. Fresh set of downs for Smith, and more movement by Reedsville. That time it's Tyson Albright, the sophomore. One thing with this Reidsville defense, five-star tight end Kendra Harrison will play defensive end, but they utilize him in situations. Let's see if he comes in the red zone.
Definitely, again, the big body. You get a 6'6", 6'7" guy out there, makes things certainly a little bit more difficult. The one thing is this Reidsville offense, you already brought up Evans on the left side. He's 6'6" himself. So they've got the bodies along that offensive front to match up.
Here's 1st and 5 after the penalty. Smith to throw. End zone shots! What a snag! Touchdown, Davis! A perfect dime from the NC State committed quarterback.
Josh McGee said he was waiting to see when the old Jacob Smith would come back. That development coming back, throws an absolute laser to the back of the end zone. And ball placement, you cannot get any better than that. That is one heck of a throw to the back of the end zone and finding Davis for pay dirt.
23-yard beauty, and what a toe tap by Davis. Extra point on the way. That's a run home of the triad touchdown. Run home of the triad. That's where property owners and tenants find their perfect fit. We're going to commercial. What a touchdown pass. Jacob Smith letting it fly. And Reagan's got the early lead. Welcome back. Tonight's game's also streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Tip Top Roofing, Faith Family Football Roofing, and the Raiderettes having a blast down the sideline. What a dime from Jacob Smith to Elijah Davis, and now Reidsville, who thought they had a touchdown on the first drive, gets a chance right here.
Just a dart. I'm telling you, in the back of the end zone like that, I mean, that's
a next level throw.
Yeah, but to say, like, you talk when you get to being juniors and seniors from coaches, like, if you're a college prospect, what are you doing that's like a next level play? That, diagnosing it, staying patient, and dropping it to where your receiver is going to be. Not throwing to him, but throwing where he's going to be. That was one heck of a play from Smith to Davis.
And what a weapon, Adam Couch. Another touchback on the kickoff, eliminating the special teams. We saw in that first drive, Braxton Johnson taken out in red zone situations. Eric Teagues noted with the sophomore, it's going to be a learning experience. It's a big second drive.
And having a good feel for it, because they had the delay of game that pushed them back on a fourth down. And then on top of that, they then had third down. And then right after that, it was a bad snap, but he has to fall on it. And all of a sudden, you're wondering where your young quarterback is. Getting Deontay Neal in there was a really good idea. Didn't end up in points, but a good feel for the game, of course, by Eric Teague and his head coaching staff.
Johnson flings it out. This is Neal, and he's spun down. Good pursuit by Antonio Kelly, who fills some big shoes. Nick Hall now playing FCS football. This Reagan program has had elite cornerbacks the last 5 years. Landon Callahan now at Duke. This lineage impressive on the outside.
And still think about the fact that the guys that are on the field right now have a good amount of experience. And that's because they rotate players in. They get them those on-field looks before they are true starters, before they are making those plays on every single down.
There have been 5 players in the last 5 years to play for Duke here from this Reagan defense. Richard Burton noting that Kelly's one of the best we've had in the secondary. Harrison in motion. Johnson goes short. Finds Neal. Look at that speed. And then Kelly catches him. Not before a gain of almost 10. That's enough for a first down.
That kind of cushion on the outside on number 1 in white, blue, and gold is a dangerous proposition if you're a defense. You got to get to him and get to him in a hurry. If you're going to give him that much of a cushion where you've got defenders running from almost 10 yards away to cut him off, you're asking for whatever's coming. And usually it's not going to be good.
Already 6 receptions between Neal and Harrison. Those two have dominated the stat sheet through 2 weeks. A tough loss against Northern Guilford, coming from behind in week 1, and then dominating George Washington last week, putting up 42. Here's a jet sweep. This is Derek Lyons, and he gains 3 yards on the ground. What about the diversity of Reidsville early? 4 or 5 guys getting involved.
Well, it's not something that we were used to seeing. I mean, it was something we thought of. Of course, you can't always get the ball to 0 and 1. We know that. But who was going to get those opportunities when it wasn't one of those 2 guys? That's a question Reidsville has to answer as the season wears on. You threw the first 2 weeks, you're 1 and 1, you did really well in your last game offensively, but at some point, teams are going to really focus on those 2 guys, and someone else has to step up at those skill spots.
Here's Neal in motion. Deontay gets the rock. He can throw it. Neal fires. Incomplete. 7 Glover. Excellent coverage.
Not fooled for 1 second. That Reagan defense went back. And at first you start wondering, well, boy, you're putting a lot of faith in your defensive front to bring down Deontay Neal in the open field, but they stay disciplined, stay to their guys, recognize the handoff, good play call, trying to get something down here. But, boy, the attention by Glover, and then Kelly over the top again.
Here's 3rd and 6. Johnson getting an audible here on 3rd down. Reagan brings 4. Johnson goes short. There's a first down. Nice curl route from Frankie Galloway, the elite speedster at the senior position.
Smart throw. It's all about execution, all about timing. A timing throw to the outside there, just getting it out and giving them a chance that time. Frankie Galloway was the one guy, Evan, that we kind of thought would have to be one of those guys on the outside to step up and start making plays.
At this halftime, here the Medical Minute presented by NCDHHS, managing the delivery and health and human-related services for North Carolinians. Good completion at 12 on 3rd down. Johnson back to the ground, finds Henry, and he gets just 3. Not much cooking there on 1st down. Reagan's been effective limiting the running game.
Yeah, and that's what you need to at least do. Recognize that you are going to be focusing so much on what they do, putting the football in the air and getting into the hands of Harrison and Neal. You've got to be able to shut down that running game at the same time. It's a phase that they have not unlocked just yet, but if they do, that's where they become really dangerous.
Henry again, 3 more yards. Another tackle for Trevor Willard, and he fills some big shoes. KJ Woody last year was 270 as the anchor at D tackle, but Coach McGee loves the undersized defensive line this year.
Yeah, a little more quickness to it this time. Instead of having that unreal strength up front, it's about speed, getting into those gaps, and using it to get around these offensive linemen. A different look, but still, as almost always with Reagan, they've got that defensive front that can contend with anyone.
Here's the timeout from Reagan. They're going to talk things over. 3rd and 5 coming up. Let's see what Reedsville's got cooking when we return to Look at those kids. It's tonight's Beatty Plumbing Fan Cam. Beatty Plumbing, a straight flush beats a full house. Well, nothing beats Pocket Rockets. We got kids having a blast tonight. Ready to rock and roll here at Reagan. It's country night, USA night. And one of the best tight ends in the country, Kendra Harrison, slots up on 3rd and 5. Here's Deontay Neal with time. Deep shot. Galloway escapes. What a snag inside the 10.
At some point, it was going to have to be someone else. And, Evan, we figured it was going to have to be Frankie Galloway. And that time, separation, top-end speed, gets by the defensive back, and a dot thrown by Deontay Neal, the all-everything man for this Reedsville offense. How about that? Just, again, the speed that time, put it right where it needs to be. Galloway has the separation needed to make a clean catch and run.
Just 8 receptions last year, but he averaged 20 yards a play. Coach Teague loves to use Galloway in these spots. Here's the red zone. Harrison the football. Kendre rumbles, pushes the pile. He's just short. 2nd and goal coming up.
Just a 6'7" freak of nature.
That's a bowling ball.
Taking a quarterback snap inside the 10.
Entering the Cook Reynolds red zone in 5 locations across North Carolina. Cook Reynolds. Can you rent a 6'7", 5-star prospect in the backfield?
Probably not, but when you got one and you own one right now, you might as well use it. Oregon, Dan Lanning and the Ducks have to be gushing over what they've seen through the years with Kendre Harrison and what they're going to do, that dynamic offense over there in Eugene.
Final seconds of this first quarter. And Kendre elects to move to the 2nd quarter. That's just late. Although he wanted to snap that football.
They did want to snap it.
A lot of times you see teams fake the snap, right? Try to draw movement. Instead, we'll take a timeout. Let's see what Reedsville's got cooking after the timeout. 1-score game here on our My 48 game of the week. When we We're back with tonight's winning row. Everyone in that row received free tickets to the Carolina Classic Fair, which is only 3 weeks away, October 3rd through the 12th. Carolina Classic Fair, this is new this year, barn to be wild. Tickets available now. I didn't write the pun. It was in the read.
No, that's good.
The fans are happy. Everyone's happy here in Pufftown at Reagan High School.
To be fair, it does feel like something you would have written, though.
So here's Kendra Harrison in the backfield. 5-star tight end. He stole it. Oh, chopped at the legs by Alonzo McCoy. McCoy just submarined Harrison.
How about that? That's a play right there, man. 6-7 inside, not just the red zone, but inside the 10 to the 5. And you get stonewalled. That is one heck of a play right around the goal line.
That's the challenge for Eric Teague, third-year head coach. He's 30-4 since taking over for his dad, Jimmy, who's now the offensive line coach. And more importantly, he's got 2 kids who both started in kindergarten this week with his wife teaching at the local school in town. Sets up 3rd and goal. Back in, Braxton Johnson. Johnson rolls right, but a whistle. Reidsville thinks this is on Reagan. It is.
So do you rethink it here? You bump it up a yard to the 1.
That's why Johnson's coming out of the game.
Yeah.
And in comes another receiver for Reidsville, Anthony Peel.
But it looks like this time Neal might be a quarterback.
And then Galloway sneaks into the huddle. How many guys are on the field right now for Reidsville? Everyone's an option. Setting up 3rd and goal.
Got to think either fade ball or read option by Deontay Neal here.
3rd and goal for Neal. Takes it. Neal sprints. Looks to throw and is collapsed. Great pursuit. Whitted was open. But nice coverage from Samaj Reed, partnering with Nicholas Flowers.
You could not have called it and then execute a better play than what Reagan did defensively that time. You know the big body of Harrison's going to be involved. They drop back, get a body on him, and put someone right in front of a receiver going out into the flat. Neal had nowhere to go. The pursuit gets the angle on him to the outside, and they bring him down. That is all good up front by the Raiders.
4th and goal. Keep an eye on Harrison. He's got 5'8" Kelly on the 6'7" tight end. Now 7 Glover comes over.
Smart play.
He said, that's my assignment. Timeout Reagan. They want to talk it over.
I love that by 7 Glover. Of course, you want everyone to get their shot, but on 4th down, you know how big that is and how big Kendra Harrison is. Get a guy out there who's experienced. 7 Glover says, no, he's mine. I love the competitive nature of a play like that.
There's Josh McGee, who won the CPC title in 2022. He thinks this Reagan team could win another Piedmont championship this year. And his daughter just started at UNCW this year.
It just depends on where this offense goes. As long as that running game continues the course and the passing game continues to get better, which we've already seen it take a leap tonight, if they can continue to get on the same page offensively and catch up where the defense is right now, which is an elite level, arguably one of the best in the state.
That's 0 touchdowns allowed defensively.
I mean, they've been absolutely spectacular. If the offense can catch up, there's a real conversation to be had about the team here in Pufftown.
Right now, Reagan ranked 40th in the state. At their division, they're ranked in the top 12, so would be a high playoff team. And here's Reedsville, top 30 team in the state. We get heavy hitters tonight. Knocking on the door, 4th and goal from the 10. A statement drive for Reedsville, held up on a 4th down in the end zone on the first drive. And then a 3rd down tackle for loss. Backs up Deontay Neal here on 4th. Keep in mind, Reedsville's kicking game has struggled this year with Alex Penaloza. So electing to go for it.
Harrison right there on the left side of the offensive line attached.
Here's Neal on 4th and goal. Deontay hangs on to it. Deontay scrambles, throws a jump ball, and a flag. A lot of contact with Harrison, but this flag back at the line of scrimmage. Coverage by 7 Glover.
I think maybe holding against Reedsville. Eligible man.
And you see the Reagan defense there on Harrison. There was everybody covering zero.
Like a blanket on the outside, knowing, again, you're inside the red zone. He's got to be the top target. There are 5 different defenders for Reagan right around him. There's covered, and there's whatever that is. That is like a SWAT team covering one player.
Could I argue Seven Glover was in bounds? That might have been an interception.
You could. Snared it with one hand right there, too. But this is what we talked about. There's got to be someone else on the outside to make a play. We already saw Galloway get deep, got loose for one, but where was he on that possession, knowing that they're going to play defense on your 2 guys?
Jacob Smith feeds John Evans, and Evans has collapsed. Wow, great pursuit. And here comes a flag. Reidsville not fooled by the running game.
Oh, I wonder where this was, because it was right around where the ball carrier was at the end of that play.
Coming up, we have our My 48 halftime report. Tatum and Atkinson Scholar athletes, interviews with the coaches, and more. And a face mask will result in the first down for Reagan.
The Rams have moved the ball tonight. Defensively, they haven't done a bad job. But the one bugaboo, the one stat that's going to stick out right now, and certainly when we look at it at halftime, penalties. And it's been a killer. You see it. That's clear as day right there on Evans, just pulling down on that face mask. Josiah Samalu just grabbing a hold of it. I always say, if you're going to get it, get your money's worth.
We got our money's worth tonight. 2 top 50 teams in the state. Smith feeds Evans. Evans gets to the outside. Nice stretch run. And a first down for John Evans Jr. This offensive line making things happen. And for more on the O-line of Reagan, here's Dave Gorn.
Yeah, thanks very much, Evan. You talked about the Teagues, father and son, over on the Reedsville sideline. Well, Reagan, offensive line coach in his first year, Nick Tabacca, is coaching his offensive line son, Lucas, who's a junior. And the story about Nick Tabacca, the last 11 years, he was the offensive line coach at Wake Forest. When Dave Clausen resigned after last season, Nick took over the offensive line here for Josh McGee.
Father-son duos, Dave, always fantastic at the high school level. Good route from Smith, finding Josiah Patterson, the senior, drags a man for 17 yards.
How about the fight there? That time a little seed from Smith at the quarterback spot.
One father-son duo, championship coach in the Teagues, and the Tabaccas making things happen on the tip-top roofing first down.
And Coach McGee told us this week, he went out of his way to point out the fact that son Lucas Tabacca does not get enough praise for what he does. That detailed system up front puts a lot of pressure on the center, and Lucas has done a great job of picking up what it means. Directing traffic, spotlighting where everyone needs to go, how the defense is lined up. Really nice job at the high school level by Lucas Tabacca.
Fresh set of downs for Smith. He finds Evans, and Evans is going backwards. Wow, great pursuit by these linebackers. That's Zaylen Hampton on the stop.
Getting up and disrupting. We've seen Hampton at the line of scrimmage several times tonight. They're not afraid to send him down and put a stop to this run game. They are trying to put this game in the hands of Jacob Smith, but right now, he is doing an excellent job, the senior quarterback, of staying patient, finding what's available, and delivering the football on time and on point.
Here's second and long for Smith. Reidsville stopping the run on this drive after the 23-yard touchdown pass. The junior changing plays up in Smith. Jacob, he's blitz, nice escape, and Smith sliding. That's good to see from a quarterback who injured his ACL a year ago.
What were we told this week by Josh McGee? The next step in his development this year is decision-making. Loved what he did last week, this coaching staff did, decision-making wise. Getting the football out, not making the wrong read, taking a run when it was there. But the next step is continuing that and making those next-level decisions. That time, everyone gets washed by him on the offensive line. He steps up, finds the green grass, and picks up a nice chunk of yards on second down.
First and only run for Smith, who injured his ACL on this field in a game against Mooresville last year.
Really good slide, too.
Baseball slide for the NC State commit. And then Evans takes the pile inside the 30. That's a huge run for a tip-top roofing first down.
You see how the offensive line gets that push. Just opened up a seam. Evans didn't get touched until he was in the secondary that time. Really nice job on third and short. But your big guys up front opening a lane, and Evans didn't even have to break off his track.
Josh McGee leaning on the running game. It's 11 yards a carry coming in.
For an offense that's only scored 21 points to this point in the season, 11 yards a carry would tell you a whole other story.
It's been red zone turnovers this year. Smith with time. He heaves a deep shot. Incomplete. Wanting Josiah Patterson in good coverage.
Reagan was still trying to find that next guy that could take the top off the defense, a bailout guy, as it was referred to, but to us. A guy that could go out there, bail you out on those situations, whether you throw it up to him, those go balls, whatever it may be. They've been trying to find that guy.
Tonight's game's also being streamed live on our YouTube and Facebook page. Tip Top Roofing, Faith Family Football Roofing. And tonight, Faith Family Football and running game of Reagan, over 4 yards a pop. Smith sends Kelly in motion. Here's a blitz. Nice delivery. Davis spins out of a tackle, and he's right at the stick. Sets up 3rd and short.
And right where this Raider offense wants to be. Knowing the weapon you have in the backfield and John Evans, how he's toted the rock so far this year. Already saw him convert 1 3rd and short. Now this time gets an even shorter attempt to pick up a first down. And a nice throw again by Smith.
Slipping free of Savion Johnson, the senior captain, returning defensively. An O-line anchored by the ETSU commit Harry Simpson and the App State commit Issa Evans at tackle. Smith finds his man. Evans breaks one. Here comes Harrison. Oh, yeah, he plays defense, too, and a gain of 2 to move the chains.
And a big body trying to get in there and stop that attempt. But, yeah, John Evans out the gate. A little bit of patience, and then you saw the burst. As soon as he got a hole to go through, gets up the field and gets just enough to move the sticks.
That's a tip-top roofing first down. Now inside the red zone.
We did wonder, Evan, where Harrison was going to come in defensively. He is listed as a defensive end. We know that he plays defense, and right here in the red zone, you want a taller body to clog up those passing lanes.
That's like a rover. Sean Merriman playing out there at linebacker. Play action Smith. Great pressure and a completion. No, that's a completion. Davis will want to watch the tape of that one. That's a completion.
And that's a nice throw. That's a good throw under duress, on the run, on the edge. And you're throwing it again to where Davis is going to be and not where he is. That's close.
That's a completion.
That's, yeah.
The leg counts. The knee counts as a foot in.
That's close.
But rolled incomplete.
Man.
And another jumping here from Cadence Pruitt, the stud DN, who's got offers at multiple Power 4 programs at linebacker.
And Pruitt's a guy that we've seen for the last couple of years as well. Has been one of the elite defenders on that Reedsville front. But right now, if you're Reagan, you're doing a dummy cadence every single time because this Reedsville front 7 cannot stay off sides.
Smith tries it again. Reidsville not falling for it. That's 9 penalties tonight for Reidsville. Fresh 2nd and 5 for Jacob Smith. He feeds Evans. Evans cuts outside. Nowhere to go. Kendra Harrison literally grabbed Harry Simpson and made the tackle.
Oh, Harry Simpson's 6'4", and he got ragdolled a little bit there by the longer reach of Kendra Simpson. That's just not fair. And Simpson's a guy who is a commit to ETSU.
He's going to play big-time football.
He sure is. So that's a college player on college player battle that time, and it goes in favor of the Rams.
Sets up 3rd and 7. Coach McGee noted 3rd down decision-making for Smith. Has to improve this week.
And a condensed field at that. Those windows are going to be tight.
Here's 3rd and 7. Smith fumbles the football and dives on top of it. He was looking for a deep shot. Instead loses 10.
Man, football just fell out of his hand.
Where's some pine tar for the quarterback?
Wrong sport, Evan. Wrong sport.
Watch this.
I mean, it's right there and it just slips out. When we were on the field before the game, Evan, we noted it's a little slick out there.
Did you see my hair in the open?
Yeah.
It's sticky.
It's a little humid, so maybe some of that sweat comes down, gets on the ball.
No amount of Suavecito can keep this hair flowing when it's sticky like that. Reagan electing to go for it here on 4th and forever. Smith with 3 men, steps up. Jacob throws it very short. Carson Bowman tackled, and that's a 4th down stop. Leading to a turnover.
Steps up in the pocket and finds number 4.
Not much you can do on that one. Just get the football out, rolling out, evade the pressure, and try to get it out on the perimeter. Just nothing that Bowman could really do with the football. With a bunch of defenders converging in on him.
We'll take this timeout. Reedsville gets a stop. The Rams look to respond, and we come back on our Carolina Classic Fair. During the 4th quarter of tonight's game, we'll highlight the school bus stop of the game. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out or when that cool graphic slides across the screen. Red lights are always flashing. Friday night rivals, Reidsville and Reagan, 2 of the top 40 teams in the state. Right now, a defensive battle in this first half.
Yeah, just 2 defenses slugging it out. The ball is moving, but it has been bend but don't break here in the first half for both sides. Outside of the 1 score on a dot thrown by Jacob Smith to Elijah Davis in the back of the end zone. We knew Reagan was going to come in here and do a really good job defensively, but Reedsville's done their own and held their own, especially against that elite rushing attack of Reagan.
At the half as well, we'll have this week's Medical Minute presented by NCDHHS, managing the delivery of health and human-related services for all North Carolinians. A week after North Carolina went 5-0 against the state of Virginia in high school football, including Reidsville, winning against George Washington, their nearby rivals, just up the state lines.
Can you hear Petey Pablo in your headset right now?
I'm feeling it. State championship's not too far away. December 11th through the 13th. Reidsville, the 23-time champions. As Braxton Johnson feeds his tailback, Michael Smith. He dives forward for 3 yards.
Reidsville has, again, moved the football. We knew they would. They have the weapons offensively to do it, but even against a strong defense in Reagan, they moved it. The only problem is they have not been able to find the end zone just yet, because when they've gotten down there, this defense has stood up in a big way. They've executed. They've made the plays to win this first half so far.
Johnson, 6 of 7, but everything's been short, just 50 yards passing. As there's big Kendra Harrison motioning out. 7 Glover taking the assignment. On the ground, nice hole for Henry, but only 2 more. 3rd and short upcoming.
I like the approach right now. A lot of those snaps early on in the football game. Kendra Harrison had a little bit of a cushion. Didn't want him to go over the top, but they allowed him to take those yards underneath. Now, as you saw there, 7 Glover comes up, jams him immediately. So you're taking a different approach to him right now, how he's able to affect the football game.
There's Harrison in motion for Deontay Neal. 2 of the best players in the state, 1v1. Neal runs it, and he's short. He needed 3. Good stop. Busy Alonzo McCoy, now a decision on 4th down. Here comes the punt unit.
Yeah, I don't think it was much of a decision that time. Even though you've got those players, where you are right now, it's a field position type of game. And if it continues to go like that, it does sway a little bit more towards Reagan. It's been huge for them the first 2 weeks, the way the offense has not been able to be on the same page for long stretches of time. So as long as you are playing that kind of football game, it's going to side towards that Reagan sideline more and more.
Here's Derek Lyons, the running back and the punter. He's the first-year punter. His first punt of the night. Very short and good field position for Reagan and Elijah Davis. A Reagan offense that's only scored 4 touchdowns all year. It's been hard sledding for Jacob Smith and crew.
Yeah, now you have an opportunity here. 2.5 minutes left. You are right at midfield almost. One timeout to work with. Certainly an opportunity here at the end of the half to put more points on the board. But what they've done so far here in the first half is not make mistakes. And that's what you have to continue to do. Certainly on this drive, you cannot make a mistake that gets Reedsville the football back.
Fresh set of downs for Smith. Finds Evans. And he bulldozes behind big 62 on the offensive line. Good push on the first down.
Job getting up the field, just getting a couple yards. As time ticks down, Reagan, again, given where they're on the field, they still have the one timeout left. They can do whatever they want to right now. If they want to run the football, they still can.
Here's 2nd and 8 for Smith, the NC State commit at quarterback. Play action. He's hit, and Pruitt affects it. Great pass rush by the 3-year starter.
Awareness. When you're on the field as often as Pruitt is, you recognize different situational downs. And that time you know it's a pass. Smith goes out there, just get your hands up. If you're not going to get to the quarterback, the next thing as a defensive lineman, as you know, Evan, get your hands up in the air. Pruitt does an excellent job recognizing the play and then making one.
We're going to pull up my old high school tape playing D-line.
We'll do it.
Torrance, California. Let's do it.
Let's
go
get it.
Find it somewhere. Here's 3rd and 8. Smith backpedals. Good screen to Evans, and Evans is loose. Perfect play design. And Lyons brings him down in the red zone. Reedsville took the bait for 30.
You know they're going to bring pressure. 3rd down. What do? Perfect play call every single time is a screen pass. Offensive linemen do a great job holding long enough to get out on the perimeter. Clean delivery from Smith to Evans, and it was green grass and a convoy.
A tip-top roofing first down, and what a play on 3rd down.
That is executed to perfection. You get the football in the hands of Evans in the open field like that, you got to watch out defensively.
Back to Evans. Nice run up the middle. And here's Reagan churning out 5-yard carries.
You still see just under 2 minutes left. So that big play gets them down to this territory. Work the clock a little bit more. And if you're Reedsville, you got to start thinking maybe using some of those timeouts.
Jacob Smith operating the 2-minute drill. Struggled in the red zone last week. Josh McGee wanted improvements. Here's 2nd and 5. Quick slant through the hands of Carson Bowman. And nice coverage by Jordan Robinson.
It may have looked like a high throw, but really it's great ball placement by Jacob Smith. Because you had a defender coming underneath of that pass. Smith has to get it up and over him. You see him right there. And you are trusting Carson Bowman to make a play on that football. Just goes right through his hands. But a good throw, given the situation, by Jacob Smith.
Couple of drops for Smith early. He's 5 of 8. And he brings Elijah Davis in the backfield. Smith on 3rd and 5 forces a flag.
That was a late flag.
False start on the quarterback, Jacob Smith. So now decisions here on 3rd and 10.
5-yard penalty.
Start wondering, some of that rust kind of falls off week by week after not playing for essentially an entire year for Jacob Smith. So you have the decision making. You've seen some really good throws here tonight. But the next thing is still getting caught back up to the speed of the game.
Same formation with Davis. Here's 3rd and 10. On the ground. Davis breaks loose. And he's got the first. All the way to the 3. Explosive Elijah Davis.
Shot out of the game as soon as he got that football, Evan. That was huge. And it didn't really seem like there was maybe a whole lot there. You're going for the handoff there on 3rd and 10. What a play by Davis to get the first down and more.
We'll take the timeout. Reagan in the red zone. What a third down run, knocking on the door. When we come back. Stay tuned for the My 48 halftime report. Gorgeous night here in Pufftown. Who's howling with me? Anybody?
Spooky.
We'll have this week's Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes, interviews, principals, and more. My 48 Sports, your home for local sports. Reagan howling in the red zone, but another example. Both teams have staggered inside the 20. Here's Jacob Smith facing first and goal.
You're making Halloween jokes?
Ooh.
It's September 5th.
You never know when Halloween's cooking. We got a
It's
Halloween game.
September 5th.
East Forsyth and Reagan. With a My 48 halftime report coming up. Tatum and Atkinson's athletes, interviews, and more.
Scary good matchup on Halloween.
There you go. First and goal for Reagan in the red zone. High snap. Evans collects. Breaks a tackle. And a pushing, pulling battle leads to no touchdown. Gain of 1. But now the clock becomes a factor.
Yep.
Timeout.
Right here.
John Evans plows his way to the 1-yard line.
So Reagan uses the timeout.
Reagan, that is their third charge.
Their final timeout. So quick timeout. Actually, no timeout. They just stopped the clock, 39 seconds. Clock's starting to go here.
That's interesting.
Reagan's got to make a decision. Back to Evans. Sprints forward. Touchdown. Fourth score of the year for John Evans in a running game. A factor for Reagan.
That was too easy at the point of attack. That offensive line takes the Reedsville defense, washes them all the way to the right. And as a running back, when you've got to bend back and the backside of a play is wide open at the goal line, you better give your offensive line some credit here. Look at this seam just open up. 5 guys up front make the hole and make life easy for John Evans on that one.
This is the strength of Reagan. They run the football. They want to be physical. That extra point makes it 14-0. This is Reagan's highest scoring game of the year. It's been that kind of season for Josh McGee, kind of rolling his eyes in the coach's call this week.
But this is what you want to see. Again, as your guys take those next steps, running the football, not been a problem the first 2 weeks. It's been everything else, executing down in the red zone, the passing game in general. So far tonight, we've seen a passing touchdown from Jacob Smith on a beautiful throw into the end zone, and your offense executing in the red zone in the 2-minute drill.
That's an 8-play, 52-yard drive. Greg Hartledge is all over the stats tonight. He will not miss. The numbers are clicking. 2-minute drive as well, efficient. With Mark Covert, I'm Evan Budrovich. Dave Gorin going to get some thoughts at halftime from the coaches. Reagan elevating up in the Central Piedmont, playing one of the best teams in the state. Reidsville, #1 team in 4A football. There's 8 divisions this year. Reagan in the top division in terms of enrollment numbers, and they're showing it actually in the 7th division.
Yep.
They were the team next highest to go to the 8th. There was a lot of discussion this summer from the coaches of, wait, what division I'm in now?
Well, I'll tell you what, Evan, they probably wish they were in that highest rank because that's 7A level.
Grimsley and Weddington and Cardinal Gibbons.
There's a log jam at the top of the 7A rankings, and no one at any other level is envious of it. I can promise you that.
Adam Couch in pursuit of a third touchback. He's got it. Okay, 31 seconds, 3 timeouts. How do you manage this clock if you're Reidsville?
Find number 1, find number 0, and you're calling timeouts. I mean, that's realistically what it comes down to. That's been the recipe for success the first 2 games of the season for Reedsville. Why not do it when you have 31 seconds and a full arsenal of timeouts in your back pocket?
And you have the jump ball king of the state, Kendre Harrison, who scored 3 touchdowns on 3 receptions last week against George Washington. He made the president proud. They named the high school after President Washington. I figured in the state of Virginia, come on, there's got to be a little love there.
Me, oh my.
Man, early season puns are not clicking in the booth tonight.
Oh, Evan, you're a gem, man.
Okay, Johnson, what do you got? Sophomore quarterback, got to go 80 yards. 4-man rush, little screen. Here's Neal. Neal cuts it back. And he's just short of the first down. So now you got to use a timeout if you're Reedsville. Or maybe you don't. 18 seconds. Okay, a lot of clock ticking here.
Yes, well, they're pretty content with just letting it go to half, I guess.
Yeah, Reedsville's got time if they want the timeout.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Okay, we're going to halftime. As that ends the first 24 minutes. Defense, one of the best in the state, doing it once again. 2 shutout efforts. We'll be right back. Away from
Moore is captain of the track team, captain of the dance team majorettes, and was named Dancer of the Year her sophomore year. She currently holds a 4.667 weighted GPA, is the student body president on the National Honor Society, in the Beta Club, and was a junior marshal. Kana is also the manager of the girls basketball team and volunteers her time with the Reedsville Area Foundation. Spencer, Kana, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Tatum and Atkinson Scholar Athletes of the Week. Sponsored by Tatum and Atkinson. Injured in a car wreck? Call the Heavy Hitters.
Welcome back to the My 48 halftime report. Dave Corn here in Pufftown. The Reagan Raiders leading the Reidsville Rams 14-0 at halftime. Joined now by Reagan High School first-year president Brent Atkinson. Brent, great to see you. First year, you're about, 3 weeks in. How's it going so far?
Well, it's been going really good inside of our walls of our school. I think it's been tricky with everything going on in our district. But what's been amazing is seeing the way our community and our students have really rallied behind us to show that they're going to support us and they're going to help us get through this difficult time.
You made mention of how well things are going inside. Academic report just released. You guys did pretty well, I heard.
Yeah, we did great. We moved from a B to an A, which we're very excited about. And the reason we did that is our focus on academic growth. We set goals for all of our students, and we want each of them to make more than a year's growth each year. And that's showing in our results. And we couldn't be more proud of our teachers, our staff, and our students for the fantastic achievement they've had this past school year.
Somebody who's married to a former educator, I can commend you guys. For anybody who's never been to a game here at Reagan, what makes this atmosphere so special?
Mr. Adams, our athletic director, and our booster club put on a wonderful event. They bring in all these vendors. We've got Coach McGee always puts a team on the field that's ready to play. Our band is fantastic. We're going to see in a moment. Our dancers were just out there. Our cheer team is always ready, and our fans come out to support all of our kids. And that's the amazing thing about this environment.
It is a great atmosphere. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your time. Good luck with the rest of your first year.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and go Raiders.
Brent Atkinson, the principal first year here at Reagan High School. We'll be back with more on our My 48 halftime report. Welcome back to the My 48 halftime report. Dave Corn here. 14-0 Reagan at halftime against the Reedsville Rams. And joining me now is Reedsville first week principal, Dr. Bertrand Haynes. And Dr. Haynes, welcome to the new job.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoying it. Wouldn't change it for the world.
You had been at Reedsville, so when the job came open, you were prepared, right?
Yes, sir. I was.
Why is Reedsville, in your opinion, such a great school?
Because we are the diamond in the rough. You know, people know us for basketball and our football, but we're an IB World School, and you know, our students gain over 8 million in scholarships, and you know, it's a school that is hidden, that people don't know about, but it's a school that anybody will want to come to because we offer excellence in everything that we do.
You mentioned football and basketball. How does the athletics help the culture at the school?
Because our students, they know our motto for all our athletes is academics before athletics. So it fits right into our culture, which is to engage students, you know, to make sure our students get all that they need. And the parents of our athletes make it all the much better because we are serious about parent engagement.
What do you love about Friday nights in high school football?
About Friday night rivalry, the excitement, the camaraderie, you know, the support that we see from parents and from colleagues alike, you know, and just supporting the student athletes all together.
For our viewers who are saying, this guy doesn't sound like he's from Reedsville, tell everyone where you're from originally.
I'm from the Twin Island of Trinidad and Tobago, where it never falls beneath 75 degrees.
Perfect weather. Hey, thank you for your time. Wish you the best in your first year at Reedsville.
Thank you, sir. Same to you. Take care.
Dr. Bertrand Haynes, the new principal at Reedsville High School. Right now, special treat for you. We're going to take a look at Friday Night Rivals highlights from all across the country. Hit it.
Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
And here comes Khalil Taylor. Welcome to the Rams, Mr. Khalil. He can fly. There goes Khalil Taylor without his team. Here goes Khalil. Across midfield. The kicker to beat. Khalil Taylor. Welcome to Parma Richland, young man. Anything you can do, I can do better. DZ.
Trying to find somebody. Good coverage there. Here comes Agent Zero with a big hit. Wow. Justin Hartley came in and laid down the leather old school style.
Facing some pressure, Lawrence with the catch and the moves. Gets past midfield and more. Another move. 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets.
Starting the fourth quarter, Bradley going long. Trying for a home run hit, and does he make the catch? Yes, he does. Great catch by Keto Rego into the red zone, and that's how you ignite a crowd to start the fourth quarter.
From 59 yards, hold is good, kicks on the way, and he drilled it. With room to spare, Tommy Baccaro extends the drill with a
Dave Gorin back here in Pufftown, the Reagan Raiders.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is proud to present you with this Medical Minute.
The facility-based crisis is where you can stay to start feeling better. It's a stabilization unit. You can stay for up to 2 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer if necessary.
You have people who are here. You have a therapist that's here 24/7. We provide groups on behavior or medication.
We provide the level of support in a way that is comforting, offers guidance, and helps them learn some coping skills to better deal with whatever it is they have going on.
The way that we talk about depression or anxiety or any other type of chronic ailment, you're just taking care of your mind.
It's okay to need support. No matter your crisis, you have options. Visit ncdhhs.gov/crisis services.
This Medical Minute is brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the My 48 halftime report. If you're just tuning in, Reagan leads Reidsville 14-0 on our Friday Night Rivals game of the week here in Pufftown. Joining me now, because you know the fair is right around the corner, October 3rd through 12th. Lily Craven, marketing and brand manager for the fair. Great to see you again. What's new at the fair this year? What are we looking for?
The biggest thing is that we are going to have our ice rink open. It's going to be the QRC Ice Arena, so you can come ice skate at the fair, and we're going to have fan favorites like monster trucks, concerts, demolition derbies, everything else in the U.S. Army Grandstand.
Can I come sneak in and play hockey?
There's going to be hockey demonstrations. There's going to be figure skating demonstrations. There's going to be a lot in there.
How can people participate in the fair this year?
Our entry system is still open, so you can submit your contest and entries through September 8th. And we're super excited to see everybody's creativity and skills at the fair this year.
If I want to buy a ticket?
CarolinaClassicFair.com.
There you go. And behind us, we have Andrew and Hampton. They are participating in the pretzel stacking contest. Here we go. Helps to have a flat head for this gentleman. Either of you claim that? So Hampton is on the right, Andrew's on the left. We're up to 5, 4, oh, and down it goes. Let's see. Do we have a winner yet? Do they have to do them all? All right, they're doing very well. They look very even right now. Lily and I, we're going to play Jenga with it.
I don't know. Andrew looks like he's going to take it.
Let's go. He has a 1 pretzel lead. I think we're going to call it for Andrew. Andrew gets the teddy bear, and with that, we will throw it back upstairs.
Well, thanks, Dave. Look at that winner. It's USA night. He looks pretty good, too, overalls and everything.
I really want to revisit Dave getting on the ice. I'm all in favor for getting Dave Gorin on the ice.
Anybody on the ice is fantastic. We got some numbers to talk about because this game was very defensive-minded. Reidsville's been throwing the ball well, but in the red zone, struggling to score.
Sure, but really look at those stats. We talked about the rushing attack of Reagan the first 2 weeks of the season. 49 yards on the ground. You think, oh, my gosh, that means they're not doing well in this game so far. The stats might be even a little bit, but the 95 passing yards have to be a good sign for Josh McGee and this coaching staff. Jacob Smith taking those next steps in his road to recovery from that season-ending injury last year, and those penalty yardage for Reedsville in the first half just crippling to their effects to move the football and get points on the board.
Here's Reagan's defense yet to surrender a touchdown all year. How do they continue this red-hot start?
Well, not just a touchdown. This game, it's been yet to be a point. But it's just doing what they've been doing so far. Again, letting your front four do what they do, getting that coverage on the back end, not allowing playmakers and Kendre Harrison and Deontay Neal get back there and make plays in the secondary. As long as they're doing that, they're doing a good job.
You mentioned the two big dogs. Here's some highlights from the first half of play. Early on, Reidsville was picking and popping their way through. We almost ran down the hill pregame.
We did it a couple of years ago.
One of the best hills in North Carolina. And then Jacob Smith, this 23-yard dime.
Absolutely beautiful. Again, throwing it to where your receiver is going to be and not where they are, finds Elijah Davis in the back of the end zone. And that is as pretty a throw as you're going to see across the state at the high school level. That is a dot.
On the previous drive, Reidsville stopped on 4th and goal, and then Reagan goes 80 yards to score. That got the scoring started. And then late in the half, they feed the ball to Evans, and he's churning out yards.
Yeah, absolutely. Guy that we've been accustomed to seeing in those first couple weeks. Getting the rock, toting it, and getting tough yards. It's not just in between the tackles as well, on the edge. getting those long stretch plays as well. Evans has been a workhorse in this game.
So there's some of the highlights from the first half. Let's go down to Dave Gorin with more.
Thanks very much, Evan. With Eric Teague, the Reedsville head coach. Your guys aren't playing that bad, but it's 14-0. You have a little bit of a hole. What do you want to see here third quarter?
I just challenge them. I want to see how much they fight in the second half. Defense has been making some plays. We've been giving up some first downs here and there, and then offense drove down to the goal line, didn't push it in. So it felt like we're right there. It just hasn't gone against – everything's gone against us. We haven't caught any breaks, and that's what put us behind 14-0. So we're hoping to see some fight and claw back a little bit in the second half.
Appreciate your time. Good luck second half.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that's Eric Teague, head coach of the Reidsville Rams, in a 14-0 hole here at halftime. We'll be back with second half action here on the My 48 Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week after we take a break for this.
It's a busy weekend of college football, including Arch Manning back in action against the Spartans of San Jose State. That big-time matchup on primetime, Michigan, Oklahoma. Let's see who can get some early bragging rights in the Big Ten SEC Challenge. Also of note, the NFL kicks off this week, if you didn't know. They're in Brazil tonight, and on Monday night, they're in Chicago. Caleb Williams, fingernails and everything, ready to rock and roll against the Minnesota Vikings with young J.J. McCarthy. Can the Michigan Wolverine man make things happen? On this level, we got some players of the game to talk about later tonight. Stay tuned to find out the Carolina Classic Fair player of the game, Carolina Classic Fair, 10 days of awesome. I think my vote right now is for John Evans Jr. We'll see how that unfolds. Yeah. Also tonight, we'll have the Caring Hands play of the game. Caring Hands Home Health, put your loved ones in our caring hands. That play so far to me is the touchdown in the first quarter.
Caring Hands right there. Elijah Davis in the back of the end zone. A bomb launched from the caring hands of that man right there, Jacob Smith.
And in the fourth quarter, we got a lot going on in the fourth quarter. We'll have our drive of the game, Norris Automotive for complete foreign and domestic automotive repair. You got any car, they can fix it. Serving Mebane and Burlington.
I just want to go back really quick. You've misled me, I guess, this entire time into thinking that you were a USC fan.
Trojans,
and here you are, Southern Cal. Here we are on television, local, potentially national if you're watching on YouTube, and you just bringing up Caleb Williams' fingernails, huh?
That's what he's known for.
That's what he's known for?
Yeah, he paints his
nails. It's not the Heisman. It's not the starting quarterback at Chicago.
His
although
NFL
that really
career has been very limited so far.
It doesn't mean anything to be the quarterback of the Bears.
Not yet.
Not ever.
That's why Fridge Perry made a career running the football, not throwing it. That was a running football team when they won a Super Bowl in the 80s.
All the quarterbacks in Chicago run. It's usually for their life, but they're running.
So we'll see Williams Monday night on ABC. Here on ABC and My 48 TV, let's kick things rolling. Second half, Alex Panazola to boot this ball away. Good kick. Returnable. Reagan from there, 2. Elijah Davis spins off 1, spins off 2, and takes it out into the 35.
Spinorama.
He hit the B button a ton.
Yeah, well, he was kind of forced to hit the B button. The first one just got spun around that time. Jordan Robinson came down the field like a missile. He just could not make the tackle. But, man, Elijah Davis, already saw him catch the 1 touchdown pass. Had a little bit of a big part tonight in a receiver room that you've been kind of waiting to see. Also, who's going to be the guy to separate? Who's going to be the guy that creates space? Right now, it's number 2 in all black.
Tonight, it's 5 completions for Jacob Smith to 4 different receivers in the first half, including a touchdown pass. Smith sends Evans in motion, feeds Jr., and John Evans Jr. gets 4 on first down. Behind an offensive line at Reagan that's had tradition of producing O-linemen, Sam Pendleton, a starter at Notre Dame 2 years ago for a national finalist team, Spencer Webb now at A&T. This is a unit that's produced year after year great linemen. This year it's Issa Evans and Harry Simpson. How is this line so effective at the high school level?
2 bookends on the outside. You really got to love your tackle play when you've got guys like that are college commits. But it's just the development, getting the guys in there and teaching them technique, getting them in the weight room, and really having them understand the game of football from that offensive line standpoint to help them find success.
And we noted Coach Tabaka coming in from Wake Forest, bringing a ton of experience. And they continue to feed Evans. Tackled by Kendra Harrison. Here's a flag after the 4-yard gain.
Certainly when you have backs like Reagan has had, that certainly helps as well. It's been no different so far at the beginning of this year with John Evans toting the rock back there. Hard-nosed runner. Very much a downhill north and south kind of guy. Doesn't really love going east to west. And I'm sure as a coaching staff, Josh McGee and his guys have to love that mentality.
Now that holding will push things back. 10-yard penalty.
All that said.
Only the second penalty of the game for Reagan.
They haven't scored a lot of points at this point in the season. I believe it's only 35 total to this point. The other part of that, though, becomes they haven't made mistakes. They haven't had those back-breaking incidents where they haven't been able to recover because they've made a crucial mistake.
Here's Smith on second down. He's hit. Nice completion. Carson Bowman. He's got enough for a first down. And it's not just Reagan offensive line success, even the NFL draft this year. Siobhan Revels, the most recent pro Reagan Raider. That was a neat ceremony. We actually had some video of Revels who played here. And look at that family supporting him, getting his ticket to the NFL.
Yep. Drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. First NFL action for the Cowboys last night.
And that Revels family having a blast here in Winston-Salem.
Deservedly so. Really good corner. Obviously, if you're drafted in the NFL, you're a really good football player, but a very good corner, very instinctual, lanky, rangy, very athletic in the secondary.
The first pro in Reagan program history. Evans might be the second, bouncing off 2 more. He is pinballing for 8 yards, unstoppable tonight. How do you bring down Evans if you're this Reidsville defense?
We just talked about Revels getting into the NFL. How about a player comp for John Evans? I like the way he looks. It almost reminds me of a James Conner out there in Arizona. Able to put his foot in the ground, get upfield, a lot of no-nonsense running and bouncing off of tacklers, getting those yards after contact.
James Conner, a fantasy football winner. You put him in your lineup, he's going to make things happen.
Touchdowns, man.
Evans is doing the same tonight. He's nearing 100 total yards of offense. Jacob Smith on second and short. Here comes a blitz. Smith heaves. Deep shot. Oh, incomplete. Through Davis's hands. And maybe that route a bit outside for Elijah Davis.
Yeah, just ran underneath the football. Was right where it needed to be. Davis actually did a really good job of giving himself space from the sideline so that Smith can throw that ball back to the outside and right over the top of the shoulder. Any receiver will tell you that is arguably the toughest catch you're trying to make down the field over the top. Not able to turn back that one. It's a tough ask, but what a ball again by Jacob Smith down the field.
Smith on 3rd and 5. Back pedals. Here's the screen. One-handed scoop. Evans directing traffic. Evans does it again to the 30. Nice gain of 19 on third down.
Yeah. Got him again. Saw it developing. That time slower developing than what we saw at the end of the first half in a screen. But that time gets it out there. Evans corrals it with one hand and he gets up the field with another convoy in front of him.
You mentioned North Carolina running backs that have shined in the NFL. Think of what Will Shipley's done for the Eagles, right? Elusive, making plays, including this week in week 1. And here's Evans making plays out of the backfield in the running game. He's a dynamic back.
Well, and this is what you have to do. In the modern day football landscape, these running backs have to be able not just to run the football, but also have a role in the receiving game. So far tonight, Evans certainly in the screen game, potentially coming out of the backfield. He's been elusive.
Shipley won a state title at Weddington just 4 years ago, played for Clemson. And now Evans on the ground, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit from this Reedsville D-line.
Ball carrier, second down and 10.
Reedsville has to find a way up front right now to initiate that contact and reestablish the line of scrimmage and push it back a little bit, because right now those 5 guys for Reagan up front are going to work, and they're having their way coming out of halftime with this defensive front of the Rams.
3 new starters on this O-line. Thomas Caldwell, Lucas Tabaka, Dax back in the middle. Whoop. And Tabaka takes a tumble. Lucas will take the free 5 yards. We noted his father now, the O-coordinator, working with his staff on the O-line. Nick.
Look, if they're going to hit you, sell it, man. You're an actor. In that moment in time, just fall backwards, throw your hands up in the air, flail a little bit if you need to.
Just don't spit.
Don't spit.
As we've learned in week 1 with Jalen Carter.
Hey, refreshing to not see someone ejected before a ball was snapped tonight. So.
Good opening week here, week 3 of the high school season. Smith hands to Evans. He can't get to the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit by the big man. That's Tyson Albright at 250.
There's your pushback. Really nice job overloading that side of the offensive line. The pursuit, Albright just beats his man back inside.
And says, I'll take that jersey and get a pancake.
Thomas Caldwell just looking, searching for answers after he gets absolutely olayed at the line of scrimmage.
Just a sophomore on this defensive line, really explosive. And here's where Reagan's lived all night, in plus territory, struggling on third down.
I wonder if there's going to be a shot here towards the end zone potentially. Not a lot of guys back deep for the Rams.
Smith on third down. He takes the shot. Look at end zone. Good coverage. Knocks it out of the hands of Kelly.
It's a touchdown if the football gets there sooner. It hung up in the air too long. That time Jacob Smith had it. He made the right read. He made the right decision. Then it's the execution. Getting that football out there quicker and letting your guy go get it.
That's Jalen Lewis in coverage.
Had to slow down. If Kelly's not slowing down for that football, that's an easy 6 points.
These are the throws that Josh McGee's noted. We've been just late on some deep balls.
And if you're going to do that, throw it again like he did on the touchdown pass to Elijah Davis in the first half. Get it to the back of the end zone. If you're going to wait that long, extend the football out there and let your receiver go get it.
A change of play here on 4th and 7. Trusting Smith. Oh, and movement. 5-yard penalty. Everyone but the center moved. And you see the confusion from this Reagan O-line. Does this change the approach on 4th down?
Well, you're kind of in no man's land, right? So even at the 35-yard line, maybe they do elect to punt it away. That unit comes out, but right there, yeah, just leaning back.
Yes, we'll bring on the punt unit. Spencer Lindquist, the junior starting punter. Spencer was our scholar athlete pregame. Good talking to him. A man of few words, but he knew how to punt. He dyed his hair blonde this summer. That was a big thing. Him and the quarterbacks all dyed their hair. Special teamers, they're different. Like Sunshine. And now a flag. Strong side. Left side.
Strong side.
Delay of game, 5-yard.
You get those high school memories here in North Carolina as well. Reedsville, known as the football capital of the state. 23 state championships in Reedsville. Right now, they're chasing 2 touchdowns, but a stop on this opening drive.
Maybe a strategic penalty there. Give yourself more room to punt with.
Here's Lindquist wanting the pin. And they get the pin inside the 20. Good punt. Down to around the 10.
That's nicely done.
We'll take the timeout. Good punt from Reagan. Reedsville gets the football back when we return. Our Carolina Classic Fair Game of the Week. Welcome back to Pufftown, North Carolina. Here's head coach Josh McGee back in his playing days. The West Forsyth standout back in 2005, a senior year. This was his freshman picture back in 2002. He ended up playing at Winston-Salem State. And let's turn the clock forward 20-something years.
Get the back of that head.
There's Josh, whose daughter started at college this week at UNCW. He said, my daughter never calls me. She's having too much fun at school. He was excited for her, of course, to start college, but he was also said, hey, can we call me a little bit this week?
A little communication would be great.
If she's watching, feel free to call Dad. Here's Kendra Harrison off a quick start to this drive, and Kendra tiptoes for a first down, gain of nearly 20.
Man, I'll tell you what, even for his size, he got a good amount of speed around the outside, doesn't he? Just gets down the field, makes a nice play. Jonathan Long came screaming down from his safety spot, had the angle on him. And somehow Kendra Harrison outruns a safety at that size. That is just not fair, man.
And with the size that Harrison has, 6'11" wingspan, think of how Penn State uses Luke Reynolds, the true freshman tight end, in the slot, outside. That's why Penn State's an elite team. They have good tight ends. Reedsville at this level, they can use Harrison in so many different spots.
Yeah, the tight end has become so good, so essential to what offenses want to do in today's game. It really started with Rob Gronkowski back in the day, or really even before him. Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, those kind of guys setting the new blueprint for the modern-day tight end. Certainly a blueprint of what it continues to evolve into, more of those guys who move all over the field that, like a receiver, but obviously bigger. They have different roles in the running game, but still able to flex them outside, get them back inside in the backfield occasionally.
Reidsville will have to burn a timeout, something they did not use in the first half. Well, we have a moment. Tonight's game is being presented on our YouTube and Facebook page by Tip Top Roofing. Tip Top Roofing, faith, family, football, and roofing. I might have gone with an F word there to make the alliteration set, but it's a great line there. Also coming up, we got our school bus stop of the game. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. How about family? Faith, family, football, and... Oh, I said family already.
You're doing great, bud.
Foundation. Oh, there we go.
Foundation.
Braxton Johnson back in the game. Play action. Johnson pressure and collapsed. King Kalama coming home.
Goodness me, the team captain, King Kalama, coming down and causing a ruckus in the backfield. What a play. Just screaming down, and he knows where he's got to go. You get back to the quarterback, sheds a block, sees Johnson rolling outside, and Johnson unwisely just stops running.
At the last second, Johnson tried the spin move, and Kalama went King Kong.
He made himself vulnerable. He's just got to keep running outside, get that football out.
Now 17 yards. Here's Harrison. Nice pitch and catch. Kendra gets almost 12 of those back on second down. How do they get Harrison more involved with the football in the second half?
Well, early on, it was a lot of those plays. The quick passing game, getting it out, the hang routes right over the middle of the field, and he's got a lot of room to work with more often than not. See him and Seven Glover having a conversation with each other real quick. But it's about getting him those quick opportunities. Again, he's so big, and we already saw him on this drive already outrun one of those fellow defensive backs and Jonathan Long on the perimeter on the edge. So you can get him involved in a lot of different ways. He's very versatile. We line him up all over the field.
There's an ineligible man downfield on that previous play. And they're checking if Reagan wants to accept or decline the penalty.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't accept that.
Well, you get third and medium or second and forever. Yeah, I don't know if Reagan's actually declared an option yet. There's Josh McGee. And you see our lead ref, Mike Ward, say, no. Delay a game. Or, sorry, ineligible downfield. Just said, did you see my picture from 2002? I was a stud back at West Forsyth High School.
Telling you, it doesn't look a day past it, does it?
Reagan will face his alma mater on October 24th in the heart of CPC play.
There's already been so much movement around. You see Josh having a conversation with Neil there.
Who's committed to North Carolina to play insert position here.
Everything.
He could play anywhere. He's also an elite point guard on the basketball team. State champion. Dave Gorin, take it away.
Yeah, Josh McGee, this is how old I am, all right, guys? I covered Josh in high school and in college. Pretty good left-handed quarterback, and now he just happens to live right around the corner from me in Louisville. And so I usually get a scouting report on his teams at the swimming pool during the summer.
We got Country Club insider Dave Gorin here.
Yeah.
I love it. The inside streets. So I think we're getting this penalty situation figured out. We're looking at the rule book now. They are accepting the penalty, but here comes the rule book, which means we're in for a long night.
Yeah, no kidding. But, I mean, if you're accepting the penalty, does it not just go back to the spot of the foul?
That's the thought. You know they have cameras now in the conference offices where you can see the referees all sit in a room and review things. We need that at the high school level. I want to see these conversations unfold. At least a mic'd up segment.
I mean,
because Mike Ward's been busy.
Nothing else. I mean, you could probably get some pretty good entertainment out of that film. So there we go. We got everything situated.
It was originally 2nd and 17. And now it turns into 2nd and all the way from the 15. They got to get to the 38. Does Reidsville. And a sideline warning added in on Reagan that time.
Well, Josh was out on the field pretty far, so I'm assuming that was just part of that.
He was at the hashes.
Well, maybe a little bit of penalties there.
I think we got it all figured out.
Believe so.
And it's a loss of down. So 3rd and forever. Johnson. Wait, a whistle. I'm confused. Kendre's like, well, I needed 22. Now I might need 30 to make this play. A false start will back it up now to 3rd and almost 30 yards. Do you have a play in the playbook for this?
Well, normally no. It's usually just running the football and getting out of the drive. But again, 6'7" tight end on the outside. If you get enough protection, just throw it up to him down the field and see what happens.
Let's make some noise, Raider Nation.
Here's that 3rd and 27 after multiple penalties. And it's a running game play. Keshawn Henry. He gets 2 of the 27.
Well, now if you're Reedsville, you got to be careful. Back deep in your own territory. Expect some pressure to come out.
And look who's down now for Reedsville. That's Deontay Neal.
Right.
He was cramping earlier in the game. The Theragun's ready to go. I'll take one of those for the press box later.
Yep.
Now, we asked Eric Teague about playing both ways with Neal and Harrison. He said in those 3rd and 4th quarters, fatigue has become a factor for his star duo.
Well, think about where they're at. The fatigue sets in because they're used so much.
We're going to take that time out, talk about Theraguns. When we come back, more football. Reidsville forced to punt early. Welcome back to Poptown. Did you miss us? A quick timeout here on our My 48 Game of the Week with Mark Covert and Dave Gorn. I'm Evan Budrovich. Early stop for a Reagan defense that's yet to allow a touchdown through 2.5 games. Another stop here for Reagan defensively.
So good. Really at all three levels, Evan. I mean, that defensive front, we've seen them impose their will so far tonight. We really talked about the linebackers. The secondary's done their thing, but all three levels, they're sound. They have experience together. They communicate well. It's a team that is very accustomed to playing with those high-profile players. Certainly, this is another unit that boosts those.
Oh, Derek Lyons almost has the punt blocked. He kicks it to midfield. Makes the most out of tough field position.
Not a bad punt.
And kicks that for 45 yards. A busy weekend, not only for high school football, but college football here in the Triad, including the Elon Phoenix off and running. They host the Davidson Wildcats right here on My 48. You can watch that game tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and then CAA play kicks off. Mark, you just saw Davidson last week. That could be a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, they're in transition. So many years of running a triple option offense, and new coaching staff led by Saj Thakar comes in there. Team under development. They're certainly working out some kinks right now. Took a bit of a licking from Georgetown last week. So Elon
had made a good game of Duke through 3 quarters.
Yep, so good test for them this week.
There's John Evans on the ground. Wow, Evans with a late flag coming in. This might be coming back. Gain of 1 on first down. Right now, the whistle is the story of this third quarter. This is the 20th combined penalty, and we're only in the third quarter.
The Zebras have been busy tonight. Yes, they have.
Is the zebra white with black stripes or black with white stripes?
It's supposed to be black with white stripes, I thought.
It's a lot of good safari questions.
Google's a good place to find info. And you see the hole right there on the edge. Pretty easy one to call that time. Eli Mateus, a little too handsy.
1st and 20 after the penalty. Evans gets the penalty yardage back. Harrison drags him down after a gain of 13. John Evans has been a staple of this offense. 350 yards in the first 2 weeks. He's churning almost 75 tonight.
You talk about the fatigue on the other side for Deontay Neal and Kendra Harrison so far through the first couple weeks of this season. But John Evans, a bell cow. Every sense of the word, toting the rock quarter 1 through quarter 4. He's been there and he's been the guy.
Second and 7. Nice cut outside. Look at the explosive speed of Elijah Davis. And once again, Harrison there to tackle him.
I got to tell you, Evan, if there's a way to unlock this offense and get more out of it, I'm starting to think you got to get the football in Elijah Davis's hands a little bit more. We've seen some explosive plays out of him tonight. The touchdown helped on the last drive of the first half for this Reagan offense with an explosive run on 3rd down to pick up a first. And then that time picks up another first down with his legs. If they can get the football to him in those short area instances where he's running the football and he's got it quickly, might benefit this offense, create some spacing.
7 different players touching the rock tonight for Reagan. Now up 2 scores. Here's Evans, the bell cow. Oh, Evans breaks loose. It's the speed of Evans. Touchdown. Showing off the Heisman pose on a 43-yard sprint.
Run the risk. You don't have any safeties back deep. Everyone is close to the line of scrimmage. Reagan's offensive line breaks one straight off the right side, and John Evans is not touched on the play. Give it to the guys up front, the right side, just some zone blocking that time. They do their job. Pruitt makes a diving attempt, can't get there, and it is off to the races for John Evans. What a play.
Just a sophomore on the Run-A-Homa Triad touchdown. He gone.
That is textbook. They're going to talk about it when they get back in on Monday, or really even Sunday. Get that film study done with the guys. Say every single play, this is how you want it to look. You get your guys blocked up. Your running back doesn't get off track, and that is as perfect as it gets.
22 carries for $115. Evans has taken over this football game.
Certainly not surprised by that, the way the first couple weeks have gone.
And last year as a freshman, Evans was very good, 900 yards rushing. He looks even better in year 2.
Yeah, and he had to. The way they want to run the football, it's always been that physical mentality with Josh McGee and this coaching staff. It's always been about controlling the line of scrimmage, running the football, getting those tough yards. It's what he loves.
So in a 3-touchdown game, we welcome you into the heart of Pufftown with Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. Reagan is running the football with the hair on fire. And Reidsville, they've gotten to the red zone, but nothing cooking inside.
Yeah, and that's been the biggest thing. I mean, Reedsville has not been able to cash in on their opportunities when they have moved the football down the field. And that's been where it's been the bugaboo. They haven't been able to punch it in the box. The penalties have killed them on drives. They've stalled. And it's uncharacteristic for a Reedsville offense that almost every time we see them are controlling games. They are getting down the field, and they are capitalizing on those opportunities. They just haven't been able to do it here tonight on the road.
So Reagan kicks off the football. This time it stays inside the 5. Deontay Neal juking, and he's spun down. There's the best tackler in the state, Leo Hausel-Rajacic on the stop.
Cramping again for Neal.
Yeah, that's not good news if you're Reidsville.
On the return, tackle made by Leo Hausel-Rajacic.
He's feeling a little bit. It's been a little hotter today than it has been the last couple weeks.
While they check on Deontay Neal. A lot of teams in the triad kicking off football here the next few weeks. We noted Elon. Here's the Aggies ready to rock and roll. Great traditional MEAC matchups with Hampton and NC Central. And then CA play kicks off all those games on My 48. FCS, who do you like this year? One of the Dakota schools to win the national title?
I mean, how do you not? I mean, South Dakota State's been so good. We already know about North Dakota State. I mean, Montana State's up. No,
JMU is the last non-Dakota school to win the national title.
Right, exactly.
And that was, it was pre-COVID.
It's so funny, isn't it? Like just the Dakotas being so dominant in that area. But hey, I mean, for a while there, people thought it was pretty funny that some school in the middle of the North Carolina mountains was doing it.
Three-time national champs, App State, Armani Edwards and company.
Pretty incredible that.
And then North Dakota State 20 years later said, we're going to win 5 straight. Exactly. So the three-peat was all for naught. But,
I mean,
as both teams elevate to the FBS level.
No one really holds a stick still to Mount Union. So, but then in Wisconsin, Whitewater down at the D3 level.
Every year you can pencil those teams
seriously, it's every year.
Right now, Reagan is penciling itself in for a signature win at the 7A level, second highest division in the state. Braxton Johnson to throw, finds Kendra Harrison. Well, Kendra gets a quick 15 out of nothing. It's a pretty effective play call.
There was a slant to a tight end. He took off like a wide receiver. I'm telling you. I know we talked about him a lot, but when you run across the top tight end prospect in the country, and he's built like a tank but runs like a deer, how do you not talk about that? How don't you speak about how impressive that is?
The Max Preps National Player of the Year last year, putting up some good numbers. 4 catches, 50 yards tonight. Now Kendra's jammed at the line, so they go incomplete, wanting Frankie Galloway. Well, that's the challenge for this Reedsville team. If they can't diversify their offense, it's going to be hard to lean on 2 guys all year.
Sure, and they're not going to play teams that are going to be the stature of Reagan for the rest of the year, right? Like this is 4A versus 7A. There's a difference there when it comes to this stuff. It's not to say that Reedsville's not a good team. They're very good. They have these prospects back there for a reason. They have success like they have had for a reason. But if they're going to make that deep playoff run that they missed last year, they've got to find other guys to get the football to on a constant and consistent basis.
Second and long for Johnson. Oh, there's a fumble. Wait, we have a whistle.
Again. Evan, that's the second time that there has been a problem with the snap and a false start's been called.
And another false start. Penalties, the main story. By the way, how about the Grimsley Whirlies putting up 48 on East Forsyth tonight?
With no phase on Brandon.
Yeah, he continues to make his way back from injury after he was so electric in the Keep Pounding Classic in Charlotte. That to me, with this new quarterback as a freshman coming in for Grimsley, they are a dangerous team.
And they're always so deadly. Darryl Brown, it's a machine over there in Greensboro.
Johnson, a young quarterback himself. Kendra Harrison wants a flag and no contact. At least in the referee's eyes.
Brings up 3rd down and 15.
Reedsville always has that potential, don't they? I mean, they always do, and it's not even potential most years, it's success. I mean,
Their loss in the second round last year in the playoffs was the earliest exit in 15 years.
It was surprising because you're not used to seeing Reedsville do that. We joked about how you can pencil in Mount Union and Wisconsin Whitewater for the D3 championship.
Now, Kendra Harrison was not healthy in that playoff game.
Right. You can pencil in Reedsville making a deep postseason run. For them to go out in the second round last year was a shocker to everyone across the state.
Here's 3rd and 15. Johnson with time. Heaves it down the field. Galloway plays defense, but what a pick. Jonathan Long, the interception. After he dropped the first one in the opening quarter.
Redemption. Finds it, tracks the football in the air. Johnson trying to make a play down the field and find Galloway. And comes up empty. Just second guessed it there for a second and playing that center field spot that time. Long capitalizes, follows the ball in the air. High points it, gets over the top and makes an impressive interception over the top of Galloway.
This Reagan defense yet to surrender a touchdown. If this continues through 3 games, they might be the best defense in the state by numbers.
They are impressive.
What a start for Josh McGee's defense. Richard Burton calling the plays. And then Evans Jr. explodes. Truck stick, stiff arm. Whoa, Evans escapes, stays in bounds. 65-yard score.
John Evans, 65 yards, touchdown.
No sophomore slump for John Evans Jr.
There was nothing around the edge. Turns the corner, squares those shoulders. And a couple of different one-on-one matchups. As a defensive back, you do not want to be in the way of number 1 in the open field. Look at this. Bounces it to the outside, breaks that contain, and then one-on-one, no. One-on-one again, no. Can't get the stiff arm down the sideline. What a run by John Evans.
We have an injured player here for Reedsville. Whole coaching staff coming over. Watch this replay again. It looks like it's Jordan Robinson down, number 4 for Reidsville.
Trying to lay out and make that stop along the sideline of Evans. What a play, what a run. What a start to the season for Evans. You could see it. If I had a bell cow running back like that, I'd want to run him all the time too. And you even saw at the end of the play on the replay there. He gets to the end zone, he's gassed.
The Reagan program who gears up to take on Northern Guilford, who beat this Reidsville team by a touchdown in week 1. And in this new look Central Piedmont Conference, what makes Reagan dangerous in league play?
That defense. That defense and that running game. Look, it's the oldest, or not maybe the oldest, but one of the oldest adages in football. What wins championships? Defense, run the football. It'll stick around until the end of time. Those two things will lead you to championships. It always has. It always will. And those are two things that this Reagan team just so happens to be exceptional at. If that passing game continues to round out and the development and the get back of Jacob Smith continues to move forward, there is going to be a conversation, even at the 7A level with so many different teams, about this team here in Pofftown and the Reagan Raiders.
There's the extra point. Reagan in total control, up 4 scores.
Connor Stone's kick is good. Raiders
A dynamic offensive night for the Reagan Raiders, and it continues in this 3rd quarter.
Let's try this one again. Tate Rice Homes, building and remodeling.
They've just been
for 25 years.
so dominant tonight.
Clients for life.
Everything you heard going into this game, they run the football well, they play hard-nosed defense. It's been that. They've taken some steps in the passing game. And for all intents and purposes, have dominated a Reidsville team that is very good. They have the prospects, they have the talent, they have the coaching. But it has not been enough against Reagan tonight. They have been dominant in every single phase of the game to this point.
Those 2 drives in the red zone stop for Reidsville kind of deflated their offense, and they haven't found it since. for a team that scores 40 points a game.
They're always so explosive. Eric Teague always has his team ready, just as his dad, Jimmy, always did as well. Several state titles underneath his belt. So they've always been ready. But when you are punching up sometimes and you go against a team that is at a higher level, if you're not capitalizing on those opportunities when they present themselves, it could deflate itself. And those teams usually that you're going against, they will take advantage at some point.
So here's Reedsville, the favorites in 4A football. They're facing a tank right now in Reagan, one of the best teams in 7A football, second biggest division. You look now in 7A, this division is loaded in terms of Weddington, reigning regional champs, Grimsley, the reigning state champions. Even on this western side of the state, so hard to get out of this 7A bracket.
A lot of schools. A lot of schools sitting up there. Grimsley, Weddington. Weddington beat a very good Mooresville team week 1. They've bounced back here the last 2 weeks. A lot of people expect them to be up there. East Forsyth. I mean, there's just so many teams at that 7A level that are legitimate state championship contenders.
Good hard run for Reedsville on first down. That's Keyshawn Henry.
And those teams are exactly why this passing attack for Reagan has to continue to get better throughout the course of the season, because all of those teams can run the football and they can also throw the football. And they've got guys on the outside. They've got competent quarterbacks. So if you're not ready for that and you can't match them blow for blow in that regard, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, think of Jai Richburg at East Forsyth, maybe the best receiver in the state.
Yeah.
He's explosive. We see Brandon Lowe now, the Grimsley freshman quarterback, getting reps the last 2 weeks. There's some playmakers here in the tryout.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Grimsley just Grimsley doing what Grimsley does. Faison Brandon, #1 recruit in the country, going to the Tennessee Volunteers next year. You don't have him for 2 games, and you're going against East and West Forsyth. Kind of a gauntlet. After you come off of that thrilling victory in the season opener against West Charlotte.
As that pass is tipped incomplete, targeting Kendra Harrison.
But you're now asking him to go out there and carry the load. All he does is go for over 300 yards last week and multiple touchdowns against a very good West Forsyth team. And this week, offense goes out there and decimates an East Forsyth defense that's also usually very good.
Think in the 7A, it's Grimsley, Weddington, Mooresville, and East Forsyth, the top 4 seeds, all on that western side of the bracket. Explosive. Kendra Harrison in motion, best tight end in the state, and a whistle.
And that Mooresville team knows how good this Reagan team is from last year. Came in here, I believe, held like a 2 or 3 touchdown lead in the third quarter. Jacob Smith gets hurt. And ultimately, that's the last game he plays last year. But he plays through the rest of the game, and Reagan comes back and wins. So they're as dangerous as anyone when they're firing on all cylinders. And right now, they've got a guy coming back, and he's not even at his best point yet. And we're talking about a team that is dismantling another highly contending team, albeit at a different level. But they're dismantling Reedsville tonight.
Yeah, this was unexpected. A Reedsville team that's lost just 3 games in 3 years. Hey, the Foam Fingers have joined the party. How about that? Fair season's underway in a couple weeks, and a hard run for first down.
Can't wait for that, Evan. Always love fair time throughout the year. Everything starts to cool down a little bit. Start getting into the cliche football weather.
That's a crescent forward first down. Nice run for Eric Teague's offense. His dad, Jimmy Teague, Hall of Fame coach, and the offensive line coach. You see those two neck and neck together on the sideline. Back on the ground. Man, the tackles machine, Leo Hausel-Rajicic. 115 stops a year ago. He's got 5 more tonight.
Love watching him play, don't you? Like a linebacker spot, you really want that guy, especially in the middle of your defense, who's not just going to command the huddle, get everyone where they need to go, all the pre-snap stuff. But as soon as the ball snaps, he's a heat-seeking missile. I mean, he's always finding the football. He's getting to the football and making plays almost every single time. Just a true athlete, a tactician, pre-snap, and an absolute monster post.
That's why Reagan's defense is yet to allow a touchdown this year. Johnson goes short, flings it out of bounds. Nice pressure from King Kalama, who's got offers from everywhere. We'll see where he signs this winter.
Rightfully so.
Braxton Johnson hit by King Kalama, passing complete.
Josh McGee said he was just different. And you see it right there. The size is all right there. Listed at 6'2", 260. But he is a handful on the edge.
Big learning curve for the sophomore Braxton Johnson. Coach Teague noted he's gotten better and better every week, but this is a huge test against an elite defense. And now a timeout. Reidsville will talk it over late in this third quarter.
Timeout, Reedsville. That's their second charge timeout of the half. Is your financial strategy?
Keep in mind, Reidsville is now projected to be on the east side of the bracket. They've been on the west side for the last 10 years. But it's very unique. You see Reidsville has dominated this bracket. We got a great game next week as well. Coming up, a fun inner city, basically 5 mile away rivalry. Central Davidson, North Davidson. North wins by 40 points tonight over Ledford. Then Central loses on a 2-point play against Eastern Alamance. That could be a heck of a game coming up next week right here on My-48.
Yeah, we had that game last year. Double overtime thriller.
Nothing in the first 3 quarters.
Correct.
The final 3 with overtime, nothing could be stopped.
Absolutely. It was an offensive assault on the eyes for the first 3 quarters and then an actual assault on the last 3 plus those overtime periods. So certainly a game that's very interesting. I mean, you had the triple option offense coming from Central Davidson last year. They get rid of that. New traditional set now for them. So definitely a different look. It'll be exciting to see how everything goes next week.
Johnson goes short, finds Deontay Neal, and he fights for the sticks. They'll give it to him. There's a first down. Good to see Neal back healthy after those cramps. I'll be curious how Bill Belichick and crew utilize Neal in the college level.
Well, you got to love it. I mean, Bill Belichick's always been a coach that's loved those Swiss Army knife type of players that can do everything.
And lacrosse standouts.
Yep.
Like Danny Amendola.
Yep.
Edelman. Many
Chris
others
Hogan.
That find different ways to contribute. Keep in mind, Neal and Kendra Harrison, they've won 60 straight basketball games, 2-time state champs at the previously 2A level. And this run should end the third quarter.
It's been the move. Here recently, they've always talked about kids playing most multi-sports. You work different muscle groups. You're not constantly putting stress on the same ones over and over again. You get that versatility. Get those multi-sport athletes on the gridiron.
We'll take the timeout. Reagan in total control. Our Carolina Classic Fair game of the week heads to We're ready for the fourth quarter. So is the student section here at Reagan. Having a blast. Also enjoying this football game.
So one guy pointed us out. He knew what was going on.
It's USA night and Kevin Harvick night. That's a blast from the past. NASCAR
Kevin
name.
Harvick. There we go. That's America, bud.
Give me a little Tony Stewart.
Boogity boogity.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., you name it, in the home of NASCAR here in North Carolina.
Can I say that?
Let's go racing, baby. Fourth quarter here in Poptown. Braxton Johnson goes to work, wants the screen, finds Kendre, who bounces off three different players but loses a yard or so. This Reagan defense can swarm to the football.
Yeah, they can, but Kendre was having really none of it the first couple attempts, just throwing guys off left and right.
Kendre Harrison egging on the student section of Reagan. You wonder right now if they can get a little bit of pass protection. Can Harrison spread out and be a little one-on-one in space?
Well, that's the key right now. This defensive front controlled the game so far. That line of scrimmage has been their area to roam. And because of that, Johnson really hasn't had a lot of time to sit back there for long periods of time and survey the field.
Here's the running game, and Reagan sniffs it out. How this defensive line's getting after it. King Kalama helping on the stop, shutting down Josiah Samolu.
Again, just rolling up front. It's more of the same. These Raiders have been attacking the line of scrimmage. They've been dominating, forcing another Reedsville punt. The way this thing has turned out, we're going to see Reedsville at 1-2.
Unexpected.
Very unusual, certainly. Yeah.
Reidsville will play Eastern Guilford next week on the road, then start league play with Walkertown. Whoa. Whistle. Little delay game.
Certainly can't say that we expected this tonight. It was reasonable to think. I mean, Reagan comes in here. They're at home. Higher level team.
Oh, boy. That punt's going the wrong way. It does get back to the line of scrimmage, though, so a punt of 3 yards for the running back, Derek Lyons.
Just kind of tonight in a play for Reidsville. Just not really going the way it normally does. This Reagan team has dominated in all facets of the game tonight.
Officially a 2-yard punt. I gave it too much credit. For Jacob Smith in this offense that struggled to score the first 2 weeks, just 3 touchdowns. They found their life in the second half. Leaning on the ground game.
And it's been a mix of the two things. Mostly running it, but that passing game is fired up a little bit tonight.
Here's the passing game. Smith nearly finds Ballman. Nice coverage from Savion Johnson. Or pardon me, Landon Hatfield in coverage.
One thing about Reagan that you've certainly seen here tonight, they are not going to be afraid to take those downfield shots. The only thing is they need to be able to connect on those things. Those opportunities down the field, just out of the arms that time. Really good coverage, though, on the back end. Carson Bowman just not lanky enough to pull that one in.
John Evans back on the ground. This is a Reagan team that made the first round of the playoffs last year, despite their quarterback, Smith, being out, losing a shootout, 46-45 to Southeast Guilford. And here they are knocking on the door for a 3-0 start.
And Smith wasn't the only one that they had injury issues with last year. This was a team that lost a lot of guys for different periods of time throughout the course of the season. So you couldn't stay consistent with your best guys in there. When you're playing those backups normally and you're trying to plug in and play them in different spots at the same time, you got one guy that comes back, another one that leaves. It was really a patchwork job by Josh McGee and his staff last year to get this team into the postseason, but now hopefully they stay healthy. Got a shot.
Quick slant route. Bowman the catch. What an explosive night for the Reagan passing game. Longest completion for Jacob Smith this year. 51-yard score, and Carson Bowman loose for a 34-point lead.
Now you try to get a slant pass underneath. Bowman beats the coverage underneath, so he gets position. Right there, he makes that catch. Defender not in the right position to get a clean tackle and a clean look on Carson Bowman. And from there, he is off to the races. Trying to get a play on the football. Look like Galloway was the one in coverage. Just not able to get there. Another step. Find some balance in this offense. It's already been so explosive in the running game. Now the passing game is starting to catch up.
A dominant night for Reagan continues. Reidsville had to sub in a player here before the kick. And keep in mind, new this year in high school in North Carolina, 35 points for the running clock, typically 40. Coaches' meetings made some adjustments. Here's the all-important extra point for Connor Stone. Whoa! I mean, the kick's good, but how about that effort to hurdle the center?
Another thing, for what it's worth, penalty-wise, you can't leap over players.
Yeah, that's the flag coming in.
Yes, you cannot hurdle players in the state of North Carolina.
Don't tell Troy Polamalu that. He made a living hurdling centers. Reagan will obviously decline the penalty. We're going to step aside for a timeout. Reagan up 35-0. Josh McGee, a happy camper. His Raiders rolling tonight at Poptown. Welcome back to Poptown with Mark Covert. I'm Evan Budrovich. 35-0. We're clearing up a penalty from the previous game. Josh McGee talking to the referees because that penalty was on Reedsville, which would move the football 15 yards the other way.
Right, closer to midfield. Yep.
I think our other ref was a bit confused.
There we go.
He went the wrong way. That's okay.
Yeah.
So moving things forward. How about Josh McGee in this Reagan program? 4-7 a year ago. Back-to-back seasons with first-round losses. What makes this club dangerous come playoff time?
Already said really enough times. This defense in the running game, I mean, they're so good. So good. They've been as advertised tonight. Those first two games, you can book it here. They got a 35-point shutout building right now against one of the top offensive teams in the state. Defensively, they're solid.
The kick is up, and the kick is good. A touchback.
In that running game. Really can't say enough about John Evans and what he's given this offense and another addition to a long line of excellent runners here at Reagan, even in its short history as a school.
Yeah, opened just over 20 years ago. And here's Reidsville, who's been dominating the state for almost 30 years now. 23 state championships, including back in 23, 21, 20, 19, and 17 among their recent success.
Not too shabby.
Tonight, though, we're going to get a look at some of the subs in this fourth quarter. Some reps for the young quarterback, Braxton Johnson, who fills huge shoes. Al Lee, all-time passing leader at Reidsville, graduated 2 years ago. And it's kind of been a hodgepodge of quarterbacks since. This goes on the ground to Keyshawn Henry.
I think Braxton Johnson, almost like Jacob Smith is for Reagan, Johnson's going to be a really big piece throughout the course of this season, and his development's going to have a lot to do with how far Reidsville goes. See some of those early jitters. This is a young buck back there at that quarterback spot. He's got the weapons outside to get it to. He's just got to be confident enough to make those reads. And once he settles in, learns the offense more, gets back up to speed a little bit more with how the varsity level of play goes, it's going to help them out a ton.
Back on the ground to Henry's. Had a nice performance in the second half. And this Reedsville club, you know they'll respond. One thing with Eric Teague, he said they want to test ourselves against bigger competition and then see how we respond when we get to league play with Walkertown in 2 weeks.
Oh, they've certainly done it. And obviously Walkertown is a team that's going to be within their own conference, certainly a team that's going to be more suited to where Reedsville is within their own roster. But we hear it every single year that you have these teams that go up against either bigger competition or a lot of really tough competition, even at their own level, they want to make a play.
We'll take the timeout for the injury. Reagan rolling up 35-0. We'll step aside after this timeout. Welcome back to Pufftown, North Carolina. How about our school bus stop of the game? Always stop for a school bus when that stop arm's out, and this defense of Reagan making things happen.
It's one of the many stops they had tonight. King Kamala just getting downhill.
You will stop when Kalama comes in your
yeah,
backfield.
I promise you that. Look right there. Just Braxton Johnson trying to get outside. Stops for just half a second and then gets stopped right into the ground.
Impressive. Another stop for this Reagan defense. Yet to allow a touchdown through 3 games, which is hard to fathom at the high school level.
Well, it's funny because as each game has gone along, they've allowed fewer and fewer points. To the point right now, halfway through the fourth quarter almost, still haven't given up 8 points tonight. They have been as advertised tonight. If you really want to see, fourth of the season is going to be in the books at this point. And they have yet to allow a touchdown. You can't say enough about what they've done through the course of the year and what they mean to not just this team, but also the playoff picture as a whole.
Braxton Johnson feeds the tailback. There's a first down for Reedsville. Josiah Samalu, the sophomore, on the ground. And here's Kendra Harrison, 6 catches for 60 yards. You go back to that first half, it was 2 opening drives for Reedsville, both stopped in the red zone, deflating an efficient offense early.
Yeah, and those really did get after them more than you would really think they would. But again, when you're punching up in weight, and you're going up against an opponent that is at a higher level than you've got to make sure when those opportunities present themselves that you're making the most of them. Reedsville didn't tonight, took the win out of their sails, and since then it has been all Reagan.
Reidsville goes back on the ground. One of the winningest teams in the state. Independence, of course, the 5-time champions in the early 2000s. But here's Reidsville that's consistently, year after year, Tarboro at the lowest division. These are 3 staple programs.
Grimsley now here in the last decade. And there are teams that just make themselves at home in those state title games, late playoff runs as well. It's impressive. You can go to any part of this state, you can find a program that has so much history, contends at a yearly basis, and Reedsville is certainly one of those schools.
Josiah Samalu gets the football. He's going to push those chains forward for a couple yards. And how about on the far sideline there, one of the youngest chain members I've ever seen. She might be in elementary school holding the chains.
Mm-hmm.
Ton of credit there. Let's see that third down chain.
You want to know something? He's wearing like a diamond vest. I've never seen that before.
Very recognizable for that young kid there with the third down.
Yeah, hey, look, very Charlie Brown.
He said, hey, I can't see the field, ref. Can you slide over a little bit, please? Next generation of players. 3rd and short coming up. Johnson. Nice completion. There's Frankie Galloway with a good catch. That's a player Reedsville wants to get more involved this year.
Yeah, that was a nice throw over the top that time by Johnson. Just reads it. Again, those timing throws, hard to do as a young quarterback, but he reads that one well, sits back, fires off that back foot. And it's a nice throw over the top of a defender on the sideline for Galloway to corral and get out of bounds.
Frankie Galloway, who fills the shoes of Cameron Jones, former team captain at receiver. That's a hard position to fill at the X spot.
Yeah, it sure is.
Because Cameron was a 3-time state champ, both basketball and football. So Johnson lets it fly, but misses his target.
Which one do you think he was going to?
Number 1 or number 0? Yeah. Both Power 4 recruits. One tall, one short.
So interesting. Even in the size difference between them, how versatile each one of them is in their own way.
Kendre, a top 10 recruit in the country. And then Neal, I don't care what the rankings are, he's one of the best players in the state.
Look, I think they both fit where they're going, though. Oregon loves those big pieces like that, and UNC with Bill Belichick there is going to have a field day with him.
How about Frankie Galloway with a nice gain of 14? And how about tonight's Norris Automotive drive of the game? Norris Automotive. They've been family-owned since 1963, and this drive for Reagan breaks the game out of the picture.
Certainly does. Big drive.
How about big drive,
big run.
Big play?
Yeah, exactly.
Evans got the ball not once, but then this touchdown put the game out of reach.
Didn't even get touched on that long touchdown run. You can't talk about John Evans, as good as he is, without the way his offensive line has performed here. Not just tonight, but through the first couple weeks of the season. And you got to think, teams that come in to their week and they know they're playing the Reagan Raiders, stopping the run has got to be the #1 priority on your mind.
25 carries, almost 180 yards now for Evans. Here's a deep shot and another interception. This Reagan defense is cooking, but we have a flag. Hold on. Let's see if this stands for Long's second pick.
A late flag.
Pass intercepted by Reagan, but there is a flag on the field.
Jonathan Long, though, back there patrolling again at that center field spot.
He dropped the first one. He caught the second one. And now let's see what the flag on the third one. Pass interference. You see Coach Seven Glover on the sideline, trying to coach his guys up. Seven's only a junior. He might be one of the best commits next year as a senior DB. Filling the shoes of Landon Callahan, who's now a Duke starter defensively. As Duke gets ready to host a feisty Illinois team tomorrow in Durham.
It's a good game.
Top 25 Illinois. Nice strong run for Keyshawn Henry. You see the next age of running back here for Reedsville.
Brett Bielema's got champagne rock and roll here, don't you?
We'll see how they do tomorrow in Durham. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Against the Tulane transfer quarterback. Now a whistle. Well, that's been the story of this game for Reedsville. 16 penalties for over 100 yards.
100%. And it's so uncharacteristic. We have not seen it, but it was something that Coach Teague pointed out to us this week. He said we've got to clean up the penalties. Those pre-snap things have been something that has absolutely killed us the first 2 weeks, and it's continuing here tonight.
How about tonight's Caring Hands play of the game? Caring Hands Home Health. Put your loved ones in our caring hands. And this Reagan offense, what a throw here from Jacob Smith.
Yeah, first touchdown of the night. An absolute bomb, a seed, a dot, whatever you want to call it. A dime to the back of the end zone. A next-level throw, really, to Elijah Davis. Continues on his route, throws it to where he's going. Excellent play.
There's a big sack and a loss on first down. This might end the game right here.
Fumble recovered by Braxton Johnson.
This Reagan defense continues to make things happen. And this timeout will stop the clock for Reedsville.
Trying to get in those meaningful reps. Of course, not going to come out with a win here this evening, but want to see your guys continue to compete. Call that timeout, see if they can get one to go into the end zone.
And then our Carolina Classic Fair player of the game Man, the way Evans has run the football, he's making an impact.
Is that any surprise? 3 touchdowns on the night, almost close to 200 yards rushing. John Evans, 2 long scampers here in the second half. Has shown off the power, the vision, the speed, the balance. Everything you want in a running back, he has shown tonight. And rightfully so. He is our Carolina Classic Fair player of the game.
Second-year running back. After Jalen Moore dominated the state his first 2 years, here comes Evans making things happen in the running game.
And just when you think that, man, Reagan, no more Jalen Moore, don't have to worry about him, he's a monster. Reagan might be susceptible running the football. Maybe you should think again. Not if John Evans has anything to say about it.
Here's the screen to Keyshawn Henry. Ooh, good truck stick. Let's see if Reidsville can get one more play in before the end of the game.
Pass complete to Henry.
I'm trying to. Don't want to call a timeout here. Maybe just trying to execute some situational stuff.
You have to go back in the history books. The last time Reidsville was shut out, it's been at least 5 years. And that looks to end the night. Another stop for this Reagan defense. How about this defense for the Reagan Raiders? Another shutout. And the Raiders celebrating tonight. Dominating Reedsville here at home in Pufftown.
All facets of the game offensively came to life finally. We didn't see it through the first 2 weeks. Tonight, the rushing attack leads the way, but was complemented very well by Jacob Smith and that aerial assault. And defensively, as advertised, attacking downhill, physical, fast, everything you could say in a positive manner about a defense. That's exactly what Reagan was here this evening.
Good to see the sportsmanship in the first ever meeting between Reagan and Reedsville. We'll step aside and hear from the winning head coach when we come back from Pufftown. Reagan dominates.
Back out here in Pufftown, a dominating win for the Reagan Raiders, 35-0 over Reedsville. Coach Josh McGee, when we talked the other day, you were just, I could tell, you kind of knew that offense was coming, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just we had to be patient. As frustrating as it was, it takes time, and we need it tonight. You know, defensively, we continue to play well, and again, I've said it a long time, if you play great defense, you always have a chance. But tonight, we kind of joined the party offensively, and just super proud of these guys.
A stiff non-conference schedule before you get the week off in a couple of weeks. How does this win set you up for the next two?
Hopefully it just gives us more confidence. You know, we talk about the only thing greater than 3-0 is a chance to be 4-0, and so we're going to build on it. It's just another win that we're just trying to get better every week.
Well, for your players, they get the Friday Night Rivals trophy for tonight's win. I'll give it to you, and I'll let you give it to them.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Here we go.
All right. Evan, Mark, back up to you.
Look at those Reagan Raiders. They're pumped up. Got their first F&R win in 3 years.
Yeah.
Making the most of trophy time. Got to celebrate the moments. Reagan's best start in 5 years now, 3-0, and this team dangerous defensively.
Just getting better. That's what you want to see. Those first couple weeks, you start finding out what kind of team you've got. Reagan, that identity is running the football defense. But boy, howdy, if that passing game can continue to progress, you got to watch out for what's going on here in Pofftown.
Look at that Reagan club, 35-0. Impressive win over a state champion club in Reedsville. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors who make these games possible. Capital Metals and High Point, Cook Reynolds, Mountain Fried Chicken, Patriot Pretzel Company, you name it. And finally, the high schools for all their help in support of the Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals broadcast. This week, we're in Pofftown. Next week, we're in the heart of Davidson, Central Davidson, North Davidson. A battle for the county, a battle for the town. The Knights and the Spartans are both off to great starts. That game's on My 48 Sports. Thanks for watching tonight. Braxton Carroll, director, Lori Bates, producer, Dave Gorn, asking all the tough questions. Evan Budrovich and Mark Covert with a happy man and Josh McGee. His club's clicking 3-0, and we know Reedsville will be back in no time, looking to defend their state title. Running down the steepest hill in the state. And then Jacob Smith and company, they were cooking offensively. Thanks for joining us on My 48 Sports, Kona Classic Fair Game of the Week. For Mark Covert, I'm Evan Budrovich. We'll see you next Friday. Reagan rolls at home.